My name is Uhuru Mufukeng, and welcome to the South African Book Review Sessions, your online political book club, where everything political literature is dissected, vivisected, and eviscerated. When we started this channel, we promised to review a book each and every day. We collapsed from that. We tried once every couple of days. We collapsed from that. We haven't uploaded any content on our channel for couple of months now, and that it is a combination of many reasons. But then we have crossed that mountain and we are on a new valley right now. And today we'll be discussing a different book. So if you're new to our channel, if perhaps by any chance you have not been here before, it's your first time here, there's a subscribe button on the bottom of your screen. I think it's on this side. I think it's on this side. Yep, just go there, click on that subscribe button. By clicking on that subscribe button, you're making sure that you don't miss out on content coming from this channel, and you don't miss out on any reviews of your favorite book. Now we're giving up on this channel. We hadn't uploaded in like 3 months. The main reason we came back and we're starting to upload again and we're starting reviving the channel is because we've been getting messages, we've been getting texts, we've been getting emails from people who've subscribed, from our subscribers telling us that they miss the channel, they miss the content they get here, and we should not just disappear. And I'm here to apologize. Like, I'm very sorry for not uploading anything for the past couple of months. I was demotivated, but because you comrades, you subscribers, the 246 of you, I think, right now. Amongst you, there were people who actually bothered themselves and motivated me to restart and revive the channel. I'm revived. The channel is revived. Hope you'll be revived again. What are we discussing today? Today we're discussing a book by Co Stevens. The title of the book is Orania and Azania. And the theme is, if social cohesion is not right, then only balkanization is left. Now, it's an incredible book. It's a catchy book, basically, not just incredible. Because if you one thing that really catch me, it's the title of the book, Orania Azania. That was very catchy because this is far right and this is far left. And looking at the demographics, the figures that the demographics here, this is actually was released by the IEC after the 2016 elections. So it really caught my eye. It really caught my eye. I was like, no, I'm gonna buy this book. I need to understand what this guy has to say. This Cole Stevens guy is actually a Canadian chap who actually lives in South Africa now, somewhere around here in Mpumalanga. I'm from Mpumalanga, by the way. So he stays around here in Mpumalanga. He says so in the book, and even some of the contents in the book tells you that no, the chap is based around the province. Now, what do I basically think about the book? The book, this book, man. I was disappointed. I'll be frank with you. I was disappointed. The title was so catchy, and even this figure, the South African map with all of this different highlights, that was catchy. Like thinking, you know what, I'm gonna get some deep analysis on race relations of the country as things stand. But it's a recent book. I think it was a 2020 release. It's quite a small book, but I struggled with the book. I actually struggled finishing the book. It's not because of the language that the book is written. It's written actually in understandable, simple English. It is actually the ideas that are ran by the author. No man, this man. Now, the book is divided into 3 chapters. The most catchy chapter, obviously, will be the first chapter because that's where you start. In the first chapter, this man argues some of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard a person argue. Now, besides many things, he basically argues on social isolation or social alienation, basically. And he's basically saying modern day South Africa is alienating white people. Yes, you heard me correct. He's saying that. He's saying that modern day South Africa, under the government under a black government, regardless of which part, obviously it's the ANC government, but under a black government is failing white people. Now we're going to engage some of these things a bit later on. So let's just talk about what the book says. Now it also talks about some of, as I say, ridiculous arguments. For the first time in my life, I got someone who wrote into detail about a concept called black supremacy. Yes, you heard me correct. Black supremacy as in a direct opposite of white supremacy. Says modern day South Africa is black supremacist. Yes, you heard me right. It says that. The book argues basically that there's so much impunity and disregard for the law. Black people feel untouchable. They are oppressing others. They are infringing the rights of white people in particular. This is what this book argues. Now, this man goes on and even rubbishes things like concepts like the land reforms in a form of the expropriation of land without compensation, arguing that expropriation of land without compensation is infringing the rights of others. You know, those liberal arguments. Basically, this is the most liberal book you can ever find, and this man was probably arguing, wrote this book trying to secure himself a place in the table of liberal whites in the country. Now, interestingly, this man also goes on in some of the chapters, and then and he uses even Steve Biko out of context to argue some of his thoughts, to argue his concept of black supremacy. He misquotes Steve Biko. He misquotes Nelson Mandela. Obviously, he uses Nelson Mandela. I have fought against white domination and I fought against black domination. Yeah, very controversial statement. But then he uses it as one of the primary bases of the argument of black supremacists. Now, this man also tells us in this book, in the 3rd chapter, he tells us of how he joined the EFF, a branch of the EFF, how he belonged to a branch, and how he became friends with another person called Dallas Mukoni, who is late now, who passed on. Now he tells us, and I ask myself, like, why does the EFF bother? Like, the same EFF, the Sankarist EFF, accepting a man who argues that expropriation of land, nationalization of banks, and nationalization of mines and the key sectors of the economy is actually an infringement of rights, and it's a way of saying that it's our time to eat. It's looking for creating further channels of looting and so forth. Now, this man became a member of the EFF, and this made me question myself, like, do this political organization take time and actually screen these people they accept into their membership fold? Eventually, there was a follow-up with him in the EFF after the passing away of Dallas Mukoni and so forth, but it is basically useless information. We don't really have to know. We don't really have to know that information. The most important information in this book is found in the 1st chapter. The other chapters, the 2nd chapter, he uses it to contradict himself. He uses the 3rd chapter to try justify and show us that no, I'm not saying this, all of this because I'm racist. I actually love blacks. I've got black friends. That's why he's got some small section on Dallas Mukoni. He's trying to tell us that no, man, I've got actually black friends. You know, I do have black friends, and they're actually quite nice, and I'm not racist and stuff. That's what he's trying to tell us here, and we are not really moved. I'm personally not moved. What do I think about this book? I believe, and excuse my French, is a very shitty book. I believe it's a horrible book. No one should bother buying this book. This man should actually be taken back to wherever he comes from as soon as possible. He's from Canada. I should just go back to Canada. He even makes arguments. Basically, the book is saying, because we are so radical, because we are so different, the whites and blacks, and these are the voting demographics of the country, we should be separated into two. we should be divided into two. We should allow all of these ones of yellow to go down there, and ourselves, the way it's green here, we should stay up there, nationalize our mines and banks and key sectors of the economy, and these ones would stay there and have their mines and have their lands and the farms and all of the privileges they have. And basically, I am saying it's a shitty book because it is divisive in nature. It promotes divisions. It says South Africa cannot find South Africans cannot find each other. South Africans cannot rise above their differences. South Africans should just divorce whites this side and blacks to the other side. And I am saying that is rather nonsensical. That should not be done. That should not even find expression. That is basically, we need solutions in South Africa that are actually going to be inclusive, because we cannot wish each other away. We need solutions that are going to actually talk to the urgent social ills we are faced. The suggestions raised by these books of dividing the country, these ones must go there and these ones must stay there, there must be secessions of province, it's nonsensical, because it does not actually address the primary challenges faced by the majority of South Africans, regardless of their race. Now, South Africans are faced with unemployment. South Africans are faced with inequality. South Africans are faced with South Africans are faced with poverty. Those are challenges that need our immediate attention, and this book does nothing to address those solutions, those challenges. The solutions this book offers do nothing to address the immediate challenges of the South African youth who are struggling to find work, who are struggling to find employment, for the South Africans who are struggling to find themselves decent places to stay, South Africans who are living below the poverty line. So it is a divisive book. He even makes an example of India and Pakistan. So he comes here and accepts and says that this is a colonial solution for a democratic South Africa. He brings a solution used by the British by British colonialism in India to separate India and Pakistan. It says, and according to him, he says it worked there. And because it worked there, it must work here. We divide the country into two. This one's the greener part must stay here. And clearly, it's the voting patterns. Most of these ones voted the ANC, and this ones voted the DA. This is what that means. So it says you who voted the ANC go one side, you who voted the DA stay one side. So this book is actually bringing colonial solutions to democratic problems, and the solutions suggested here are quite unreasonable and should not be given an inch of space within our society. Now, interestingly, I also believe this book is very Verwoodian in nature. For a Canadian, how can a Canadian be so Verwoodian? It is the racist to the core. This man he's a writer, apparently he's written so many books, but then he should stay away from writing about race relations in a country whereby he has no idea of its history and the scars that we carry as offsprings of those who were oppressed, and the oppression and the institutionalized racism that we face on a daily basis. The solutions he provides here do not actually address those particular problems that we'd love to be addressed as a matter of agency as a country. So, as our return to the South African book review sessions, this is the book we did. It's by Stevens, Azania, and Orania. We have to rate it between 0 and 10. I'd give it a 3. I'd give it a 3 as a punishment. I was going to give it maybe a 4. But because of the way he misquoted and misquoted out of context, Nelson Mandela misquoted Steve Biko, yeah, he loses a point. And besides that, it's divisive. It actually deserves a 2. It actually, no, it's not a 3. It's a 2. It's a 2. I was going to get a 3, but no, it's getting a 2. A2. It's a horrible book. It has serious undertones of racism and disregard for black people, and comes up with concepts and denialism on the parts of white people. It is not part of the materials that we are going to use in uniting South Africa and in addressing the challenges. And in addressing our challenges, whatever compromises and whatever means we're going to try to, we need to talk, we need to find solutions that are going to address the problems of poverty. We need to find solutions that are going to address the problems of unemployment. We need to find solutions that are going to address inequality. And this book does not offer us that.